Good morning everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel Leaf Classes. I am Anjali. Today I am here with the solution video of session 3. The topic is values and data types. I hope all of you must have done the answers and you are ready to check your answers with my answers. So just bring your notebook, your practice notebook, and let us do the answers one by one, and all of you are requested to tally your answers. If anywhere the correction is required, please do the correction and prepare the topic properly. The first question is, give one example each of primitive data type and composite data type. Children, all of you know there are two types of data types we use in Java, primitive and non-primitive data type. Primitive data type is also known as basic data type, and non-primitive data type is also known as derived data type or composite data type. So you have to take care of these names. If the basic data types are asked, that means primitive or basic are same thing. If non-primitive is asked, that means non-primitive, derived or composite, anything can be asked. So we have here primitive data type is int and composite data type is class. For primitive data type you can have other like char, float, double, boolean, all these you can write in primitive data types. It is asked. But children, my advice, if one example is asked, please write only one example. And for composite data type you have class, arrays and interface. These are other data types of composite type. So this is just for the explanation I have given. But if only one is asked, you will be writing only one. Any one you can write from this list. I hope it is very easy and clear to all of you. The second question says to find the values of ANS and CTR variables. These three statements are given in the question. Let's see that. Char ANS1 equal to capital Z. Children, for these type of questions, you must learn the ASCII codes, especially for capital A to capital Z, small a to small z. Capital A is 65, capital Z is 90, this is 97 and small z is 122. These will help you a lot in solving these type of questions. So here ANS1 is Z, capital Z. int CTR equals to ANS1 minus 1. So whenever we are trying to do any calculation with the variable which is already char type, then instead of char value here the ASCII value is taken into account. So the ASCII value of ANS1 is 90, capital Z is 90. So CTR will be 90 minus 1, so it is equals to 89, and here char ANS equals to char of CTR. CTR is 89 and character value of 89 is capital Y, right? So you will be writing like this. You can solve it also, or directly also the answer can be written. So I will write here ANS equals to char of 89. This is equals to Y. So afterwards you can write the answer like this. Answer CTR equals to 89 and ANS equals to Y. This is your answer. Question number 3 is to find the type of casting in the given example. So here we have double M equals to 25.29, int A equals to 12. First is int X equals to within bracket int M. Children, we know we have two types of conversions. First is implicit and the second is explicit. Implicit conversion, when automatically the resultant data type is in the highermost data type of that expression, and explicit means forcefully we are converting the resultant data type into our required value. So that is explicit. So wherever like this it is written, forcefully you are writing int X equals to M. M is double value, but you want that this should be converted to int type. That means forcefully we are doing. So wherever that is there, we write explicit. So the first answer is explicit conversion, and in second long b equals to a. A is int and we want to store that int value into b, which is long type. So automatically this conversion is taking place, so that is known as implicit conversion. So children, always keep in mind wherever any value before the expression, any data type is written, say it is double or int or float, that means forcefully we are doing, so the answer will be always explicit in that case, and where no such data type is written in the bracket, always the answer will be implicit. This is very simple and I hope all of you have understood it. The next question is to give the default values of the primitive data types and their size in bits and bytes. Children, this question I have written for all the data types. Normally you get the question for one data type or two data types, the default values or their size in bits or bytes. So this answer what I have written here is the solution of many questions. You can get many questions based on this table. So prepare this properly. Here I have written the data types, the primitive data types here, their size in bits, bytes and the default values. I'll read them one by one. Byte. First data type is byte and the size in bits is 8 bits and 8 bits makes 1 byte. So the size in bytes is only 1 byte and the default value is 0. Then we have short data type. The size in bits is 16. In bytes it is 2 and the default value is 0. Children, all of you know that 8 bits makes 1 byte. So here automatically when you remember for bits, you can convert that to bytes by dividing by 8, or if you learn in bytes, you can convert them to bits by multiplying it by 8. So we have int 32 bits, 4 bytes and the default value is 0. Then you have long 64 bits or 8 bytes and 0, or 0L also sometimes it is written. Then we have for real values float and double, the size in bits is 32, 64 respectively, and in bytes 4 and 8, 0.0f and 0.0d. Now by default, if any fractional value we are taking, it is taken as double value. So if you want your constant to be float type, you have to write f after that, right? Then the next is char. It takes 16 bits or 2 bytes and the default value is \u and 4 times 0. This is the question which is already asked in one of the previous year board questions. So here this is the table and you know that these 4 are for integers. The questions can be asked like this: name 4 data types for integers. So we have byte, short, int and long. For fractional value, for real values, we have double and float. So children, prepare this table very properly. Question number 5 I have taken from board paper of year 2015, which says you have to arrange the given primitive data types in ascending order of their size. And in question number 4, we have seen different primitive data types and their size. So here is the answer. You can write like this: data types in ascending order are byte, which takes 1 byte, char, which uses 2 bytes, int, which uses 4 bytes, and double, which uses 8 bytes of memory space. You can write like this on different lines or on the same line, as whichever way you are more comfortable, and like this always the questions are asked in the exam. Question number 6 is of year 2014 and the question says differentiate between floating point literal and double literal. So here we know that float and double both are used for fractional values, but when you want after decimal up to 5 or 6 decimal places only, then we use float, and when you want more precision values, that is the values after decimal, after that you want for 15 or 16, then you use double type value. So difference, just one difference is asked, so don't go for writing 2 or 3 differences. If one is asked, just write 1. If 2 are asked, write 2 differences. So you can write it is a fractional number because it is asked for literal. They are not asking for data type, right? So there is a difference between float data type and float literal. So fractional, it is a fractional number with short precision values, that is up to 6 to 7 decimal digits. And in double type, it is also a fractional number which has more precision values up to 15 or 16 decimal digits. Writing this much is sufficient. So I hope all these questions are helping you and you have done earlier also. This is correct in your practice notebook, and when you are checking with me, you are just putting a tick mark and there is no error in your practice notebook. Question number 7 says, what do you mean by token, and give any 4 types of token. Children, for this particular topic already 2 videos are present on the channel, and in the end screen of today's video also the link is given. Please go through these videos very carefully. They are going to be very helpful in preparation of tokens topic. So let us come to the definition. The smallest individual component of a Java statement is termed as token. Any single component, if you are writing A plus B, A is one token, plus is token, B is token. So each smallest part, each smallest individual component of the Java statement is termed as token, and we have many different types of tokens. The 4 names I have written here: literals, identifiers, operators, keywords, all these are tokens. So writing this much is sufficient if the question is asked to give the definition and the names of tokens. Question number 8 says to give 2 rules for naming a variable. All of you know that variable name cannot be a keyword. So the first rule is the keywords cannot be used as variable names. So I cannot write int float. Say if I am writing int here, float cannot be given as a variable name because float is a keyword. So we cannot use keywords as the variable names. And the second is the variable names should be relevant to its purpose. Say if you want to store the some value and you are taking the variable name as product, although it is not wrong, syntax wise it is correct, but it is not solving the purpose. Anyone who will read the program will understand that this particular variable is used for storing the product value, whereas I am writing further to store some result in this. So it should be according to the purpose for which you have taken the variable. So we have 2 differences: keywords cannot be used and the variable name should be relevant. Question number 9 says to give the data type for the following. That is, first the special character. So wherever this character word is coming, that means we want to store a single character. So the data type is char. Children, please take care of writing char word. C also has to be small. If you write in capital, you may lose marks over there. Then the second one is for fractional number. That means for decimal values also we use double data type. So here also take care of capital and small letters. Everything has to be written in small case. Then the next question says that you have to give the resultant data type for the following statements. So it is printing the value of P and we have to find the data type for P. Now see here, it is A by 4. What it will return? It is float by int. So this will return in float value, float, and here sqrt function is there. Sqrt function always returns the answer in double value, and float and double will give you the output in double. This is known as implicit conversion. The resultant data type is always into the highermost data type which is mentioned in that expression. So here we have finally float and double. So the resultant value will be double. So you will write in answer resultant data type is double, right? Question number 11 is from year 2007, which says you have to assign the value of pi to a variable of requisite data type. Now here the value is also given in the question 3.14287. So this is a fractional value, and by default all the fractional values take double data type. So we can store double pi equals to 3.14287, and don't forget to put the semicolon. Children, many children write like this: double pi equals to 3.14287. This is wrong. This symbol is not the correct symbol for the variable name. So please avoid writing the symbols for the variable names. You have to use pi. You can take pi, you can take p or any other variable, the correct variable name, but you cannot use pi symbol for the variable name. So these small things are there which you have to take care of, right? Then question number 12 is there, which is of year 2006, and it says name any two data types. Give two data types of Java. So here we have primitive data type, or you can say basic data type, and the second one is non-primitive or composite or derived data type. Very simple questions are asked in exam, so just prepare your basics and you are done with your preparation. Question number 13 says, what do you mean by type conversion and how is implicit conversion different from explicit conversion? Children, conversion means to convert into something, right? So type conversion, what we have done in this chapter, data types. Data types means we don't have only one particular data type, we have so many data types. But when we are using different data types into just one expression, then that expression is known as mixed expression. Mixed expression means where you have used different variables which are of different data types. Now when you will solve that expression, obviously the result will be only in one data type. So in which data type it is there, or in which data type I want the answer, that is known as conversion. So let us see the definition. In an expression of mixed data type, the result must be obtained in a specific data type. The conversion into the resultant data type is known as type conversion, right? And we have two types of type conversions, implicit and explicit. In implicit conversion, automatically it is done. It does not require user's intervention. You give different data types in one expression, and according to the highermost data type, the resultant data type is obtained. In implicit conversion, the result of the expression is obtained in the highermost data type among the variables. Here if I have taken int, I is int type, f is float type, and d is double type, and I have written the expression I plus f plus d. Now here we are finding the sum, one is int, one is float, one is double. But in this, the resultant will be into double because double is the highermost data type among all the variables which we have used. Now in explicit conversion, forcefully we want that result I want in int type only, or float type only, or double type. We tell the statement that give the answer in this particular data type. So in explicit conversion, the result of the expression is as per the user's requirement. Here also I have taken I as int, f as float, and d as double. And here also I have written I plus f plus d. Integer, float, and double we are adding. But I want the answer in float value. So what I will do, before the expression we write the desired data type within the brackets. So the result of this particular expression will be forcefully converted into the data type which we have mentioned. So here it is float, so the resultant of this expression will be float type. So this is how implicit and explicit conversions are there. Children, question number 14 is about the definitions. I am not giving you any definition here. Most of the definitions you will get in the videos of tokens. Two videos are there, and end screen contains the link of all those two videos. Please watch those videos for preparation of this topic. And in case you find any problem in any of the definition, please let me know through comment section. I will try to give the entire definition in the telegram, so you can refer there also for that. Today's video contains the PDF link of the questions which we have done today, and in the previous video the questions PDF link was there. You can refer to any video for the questions and refer to the solution for this video. We have already done Session 1, Session 2, Session 3. That means we have completed 3 topics of your syllabus, and next session will be for the next topic. So stay tuned, and those who have not subscribed the channel, please do subscribe and press the bell icon so that you get the notifications for all the videos and no important topic is missed by you. Keep practicing, keep working hard, keep solving the questions. God bless you, children.